Hello everyone, this is the Wanderer. Today I'm sharing a flashback to our visit to the sanctuary of Our Lady of Lourdes. So let's watch the countryside and listen to our tour manager.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
We are in France. Nous sommes en France. Another country that we will be crossing. But we will be crossing the southern part of France. This big country, as I already told you, it's actually the third biggest country in Europe regarding its territorial size. 543,000 square kilometers. That's an amazing city. And should you visit Paris, please remember when you are there, my words, and do the boat ride on the Seine, the river Seine. That's the river that crosses the Côte d'Azur, yeah, the French Riviera, exactly, the Côte d'Azur, the blue coast, where you find those towns like Cap d'Agde, Nice, city of Nice, where you find the Principality of Monaco. Well, that southern part of France is really amazing. Cities like Montpellier, Marseille, and then you have the Atlantic coast, the Normandy coast. Well, you Americans, you know that part of France surely very well because you lost so many boys there during the fight against Hitler. And obviously the Normandy coast was the best, the most defended part of France by the Germans, because they knew that the Allies would eventually start a conquest of Europe coming from there. And so the Normandy coast was very much defended by the Germans. But it's a beautiful part of France, so the Atlantic coastline of France, where you have cities like Biarritz, where you have cities, all those Normandy coast cities, some of them were conquered. So we will be exploring. Sister will bring you to this church. And folks, as I told you, please keep. The one down at the grotto. Shame on you. Father is placing some very, very interesting questions here in the front, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a theological question. Well, he was asking if all the water in Lourdes is holy water. If he goes to a bar and asks for a gin tonic.
We are in Lourdes, France. Yeah.
In 1858, a 14-year-old girl named Bernadette Subiros saw the Virgin Mary here 18 times, and since 1858 there have been over 200 million visitors here. This is the upper basilica, and on the side is the grotto where the Virgin Mary appeared. We had Mass here, actually. Pardon the shakiness on my recording here. It was using my telephoto. And this is the river next to it, the Gavlupu. Very relaxing out here. Here's where you can get your water. Everybody brings their plastic jugs and fills up, which we did. And further on down are the baths, and we did that as well. The water is cool there. I went a full submersion in the pool. When I came out, I put my clothes on, and I wasn't wet at all. This is in front of the upper basilica, and every night there is a candle procession there. You don't see it here, but off to the right there is the St. Pius X underground basilica, which houses 25,000 people. This is the other side of the river.
Well, it's right. It's a nice time when the sun is going down.
We had just finished Mass in one of the chapels. This is actually a hospital. A lot of invalids visit, and if necessary, they can be housed in the
St.
hospital.
Patrick Chapel where we had Mass. We are traveling in the French countryside, north of the Pyrenees. We're traveling west. On the other side of the Pyrenees is Spain.
From country to country without border controls, because the rule is you are controlled in the first and in the last city, so before you return to your origin. And so that means you flew in over Madrid, and you were controlled in Madrid, unless you made a pit stop in another European city, a European Union city. That happens. Sometimes people are coming from the United States, they stop, for instance, they make a pit stop in Amsterdam. I imagine your flight was New York, Amsterdam, Barcelona. You were controlled in Amsterdam, and then in Barcelona, no control at all. I really don't know your case. I don't have that information, but if you made a direct flight from your origin to Barcelona, you were controlled in Barcelona, passports and all that. If not, you will always be controlled in the first city where you land, and then you will be controlled in Lisbon. So that means in the meantime we crossed from Spain to France, from France to Spain again, and then afterwards we will be crossing the border between Spain and Portugal, and there will be no controls, so no border controls, and it works the way I just explained to you. And right now we are entering the Kingdom of Spain. And the curious thing is that right now we are actually crossing, we have been crossing for the last 45 minutes, well, almost an hour. We have been crossing Basque territory. So when I told you about the Basques, the Basque country or the Basque region was originally an area that comprehended a little bit of these two nowadays countries, Spain and France. Obviously nowadays we have nations that were built according to the Roman division, but before the Romans got here, the Basques were already here, and they occupied this region of southwestern part of France and northeastern part of Spain, because at that time there was no Spain yet, no France, no division as we have it nowadays. So the Basques, they actually live between these two countries.